Long ago, in the early days of America, there were many villages scattered like little clusters of lanterns across the wide and waiting land. Each cluster, a beacon against the vast wilderness, held lives intertwined by shared struggle and simple joys. In those times, life was not easy. The land was raw, the winters harsh, and the comforts few. Families lived simply with few possessions, and they worked hard from sunrise to sundown just to keep food on the table and firewood by the hearth. The rhythm of their days was dictated by the sun, the seasons, and the constant demands of survival. Yet, for all the hardship, there was something undeniably beautiful in those days, a resilience born of necessity, a deep seated connection between neighbors who understood that their own well being was tied to the well being of the community. Honesty was treasured, kindness was remembered longer than gold, and a helping hand was often worth more than any coin. In one such village, quiet and unassuming, stood a small cottage at the edge of a vast, whispering meadow. The cottage was nothing grand. It was humble, made of rough hewn timber gathered from the nearby woods. Its roof was patched with care, a testament to countless hours spent mending against the rain and snow, and its walls, though sturdy, bore the marks of many seasons. The windows were small, letting in just enough light to warm the wooden interior, yet from them often shone a soft, inviting glow that spoke of warmth and life within. This modest dwelling was home to a widow and her young daughter, Mary. Mary was a bright little girl, small for her age but brimming with an indomitable spirit. Her eyes sparkled like morning dew catching the first rays of the sun, reflecting a curiosity and joy that seemed to defy their humble circumstances. Her laughter was as quick and clear as the brook that babbled and danced its way through the meadow, a sound that could chase away the shadows from any weary heart. Though she had no fine dresses, no elaborate toys, nor any of the treasures that wealthier children might possess, she possessed something far greater, an open heart, boundless empathy, and a spirit eager to do good. Her mother often said that Mary's smile was their richest possession, for it seemed to bring comfort wherever it went, a quiet light in their small world. Mary and her mother lived simply as widows and orphans often did in those challenging times. Their existence was a daily testament to hard work and perseverance. Mary's mother labored tirelessly from dawn until dusk, her nimble fingers mending clothes for neighbors, her back aching from tending a small patch of garden that yielded precious vegetables and herbs. Every thread she stitched, every weed she pulled was done with the fierce love of a mother providing for her child. There were many days when the food was plain and scarce, perhaps just a thin stew or a piece of dry bread, but never a day passed without love. Their small cottage, though lacking in material riches, overflowed with affection, understanding, and quiet strength. Each evening, when the fire crackled low, casting dancing shadows on the walls, Mary's mother would tell her stories, not of kings and queens with their distant castles, but of kindness, honesty, and the everyday courage of ordinary people. These were the true tales, the lessons whispered from generation to generation. Remember Mary? She would often say, her voice soft but firm, her hand gently stroking Mary's hair. True wealth is not counted in shiny coins, but in the good we do for others, in the lives we touch with compassion. These words were more than just stories. They were the very foundation of Mary's upbringing, shaping her young heart and mind. One autumn morning, the air was sharp and invigorating, carrying the distinct earthy scent of fallen leaves and distant wood smoke. The sky was a brilliant, clear blue, a stark contrast to the turning golds and reds of the trees. Mary's mother, her brow furrowed with the silent calculation of their meager stores, wrapped a small, carefully cut piece of bread in a clean cloth. It was coarse bread, baked from flour mixed with the very last of their precious grain, a mix of rye and wheat, rough to the touch but substantial. To most, it would seem a meager portion, barely enough to sustain a growing child, but to Mary it was precious. It represented sustenance, her mother's hard work, and the warmth of their home. She was to take it with her on her walk to the village, where her mother had sent her on an important errand, to fetch a much-needed spool of thread from the shopkeeper, without which she could not mend clothes. "Eat this when you grow hungry, my dear," her mother said, her voice gentle as she leaned down to kiss Mary's brow. "It will give you strength for the road and keep the chill from your bones." Mary nodded, her small face serious, understanding the importance of the errand and the preciousness of the bread. She tucked the cloth-wrapped bread safely beneath her arm, feeling its comforting weight, and set off. The dirt road stretched before her, a ribbon of pale earth winding through the colorful landscape, lined on either side with hedgerows and sturdy wooden fences that marked the boundaries of fields. Crows cawed overhead, their voices sharp in the crisp air, and squirrels busied themselves among the branches, darting back and forth, preparing frantically for the long, silent winter to come. Mary's breath rose in little clouds in the cool air as she skipped along, humming a tune her mother often sang, a simple melody about the changing seasons. She thought of the ancient oak tree that stood tall and majestic at the meadow's edge, its branches wide and welcoming as a father's embrace. There she planned to sit and eat her bread, savoring each bite, before continuing her journey into the heart of the bustling village. The thought of that peaceful moment under the old oak filled her with a quiet anticipation. But as she walked, her innocent gaze scanning the familiar path, she noticed something unusual, something that broke the comfortable rhythm of her morning stroll. There, sitting hunched on a rough-hewn stone by the roadside, was an old man. His presence was a stark silhouette against the vibrant autumn colors. His clothes were threadbare, faded, and patched so many times that the original fabric was barely discernible. His shoes, worn and cracked, looked as if they had carried him across countless miles, their soles thin and weary. His shoulders drooped with an immense weariness that seemed to settle deep into his bones, and his eyes, though gentle and kind, were shadowed with a profound hunger, a look that Mary, even in her young age, recognized as the gnawing ache of an empty stomach. Mary slowed her steps, her humming fading. The man looked up at her approach, his gaze meeting hers. In his weathered face, she saw not just weariness and hunger, but also a flicker of hope, as if he had been sitting there for a long time, patiently waiting for someone, anyone to pass by, perhaps an angel of mercy in the form of a small girl. Mary clutched her bread a little tighter, the warmth of it a small comfort against the sudden chill of compassion that settled in her heart. It was, after all, the only food she had for the entire day, her sole provision against the hunger that would surely come. Just then her stomach gave a small, undeniable growl, a gentle but insistent reminder of her own growing hunger. The bread was meant for her. She thought of the warm, satisfying bite she had been saving for herself under the sheltering canopy of the old oak tree. A private moment of peace and sustenance. For a fleeting moment, a tiny, selfish thought flickered through her mind. She considered walking quickly past the man, averting her gaze, and keeping her precious bread entirely for herself. After all, she was just a little girl, barely big enough to carry the spool of thread her mother needed. What could she do? How could her small portion truly make a difference to such a large and hungry man? It was a moment of internal conflict, a tiny battle between instinct and empathy, between her own need and the unspoken plea in the old man's eyes. But then, clearer than the crow's caw, she remembered her mother's words from many nights before, words woven into the fabric of her being. True kindness is shown not when we have much to spare, but when we choose to give from the little we have. Those words, simple yet profound, echoed in her young heart, pushing aside the fleeting selfishness. They reminded her that generosity wasn't about abundance but about willingness. Her mother had instilled in her that the act of giving, especially when it meant a personal sacrifice, held a deeper value. With a resolve that belied her years, Mary unwrapped the cloth. The bread, coarse and plain, seemed even smaller now that she considered dividing it, barely enough it felt for her own hunger, let alone for two. But she didn't hesitate. She broke it carefully in two, her small fingers methodical. She held one half for herself, the warmth of it a little less comforting now, and with her other hand extended the remaining half to the old man. Her arm was stretched out, a silent offering, her eyes wide and earnest. The man's eyes, previously shadowed with despair, filled with tears. They welled up and spilled over, tracing paths through the dust and grime on his cheeks. His trembling hands, gnarled and rough from years of toil, reached out slowly, almost disbelievingly. He accepted the bread as though it were the richest gift he had ever received, a treasure beyond measure, far more valuable than any jewel. Slowly, reverently, he brought the piece of bread to his lips. He ate, not wolfing it down, but savoring each bite, each crumb, as if tasting the very essence of life and hope. With every mouthful, his gaunt face softened with relief, the tension easing from his brow, and a faint, grateful smile touched his lips, transforming his weary expression. "Bless you, child," he whispered, his voice weak and raspy from disuse and hunger, but undeniably filled with a profound and heartfelt gratitude. "You have saved an old man's day, and perhaps his spirit. Mary said nothing, but as she walked on, leaving the old man to his quiet meal, she felt a peculiar warmth spreading through her chest. It wasn't the warmth of the sun, nor the comfort of her own half-eaten bread. It was a warmth that emanated from within, a deep, abiding satisfaction. She had less bread now, physically, yet her heart felt strangely full, lighter than it had been before. By the time she reached the ancient oak tree and sat down on its gnarled roots to eat her remaining piece, the bread seemed sweeter than she had ever known it to taste. It was flavored not just with flour and fire, but with the pure, unadulterated joy of sharing, of having made a difference, however small. The simple act had transformed a meager meal into a feast for her soul. When Mary returned home that evening, the golden light of sunset painting the cottage walls, she was eager to tell her mother what had happened on her journey. She recounted the tale simply, honestly, without embellishment, describing the old man, his hunger, and her decision to share her bread. Her mother listened silently, her own eyes soft with understanding and a deep maternal pride. When Mary finished, her mother gathered her daughter into her arms, holding her close, and whispered, "My sweet child, you gave away half your bread, but you gained something far greater. Bread that is shared never truly runs out, for it feeds the soul as well as the body. And a fed soul, Mary, is a rich soul indeed." The embrace was long and comforting, a silent affirmation of Mary's goodness. From that day on, Mary carried the memory of the old man wherever she went, a precious, indelible imprint on her young heart. It became a guiding star in her young life, illuminating her path and shaping her choices. She learned firsthand that kindness, though it may seem small, possesses an incredible, almost magical way of multiplying. What began as a single piece of coarse bread, broken in two by a child's compassionate hand, grew into a lesson that spread its gentle influence through the whole village, slowly but surely. For in time, the story of Mary's selfless sharing reached the ears of others. The old man himself, having regained his strength and continued on his journey, did not forget the small act of mercy. He spoke of the little girl whose unexpected kindness had given him the strength to go on, painting a vivid picture of her bright eyes and generous spirit to everyone he met. His words were like seeds scattered on fertile ground. Neighbors, hearing the heartwarming tale, began to look at their own loaves of bread, at their own meager provisions, and ask themselves, could they not too share a portion? Could they not offer a little from their little? The tale was whispered over fences, shared around supper tables, and recounted by the hearth on cold nights. It became a quiet, powerful narrative, told from one family to another, a reminder that even children, even those with little to call their own, possess the capacity to do great good and to inspire others. And so, though Mary never became wealthy in gold or silver, never amassed great possessions, she was remembered long after for the richness of her spirit, for the pure gold of her heart. Her name became synonymous with the gentle ripple effect of compassion. Years later, when Mary had grown into a wise and gentle woman, her own life rich with quiet service and loving relationships, she would often walk by the old oak tree where she once ate her half of bread. The tree had grown taller, its branches wider, a silent sentinel of seasons past. She would pause beneath its familiar canopy, a soft smile gracing her lips, and remember the autumn day when a small choice made from a place of deep empathy turned into a lifelong lesson. She never forgot that the truest wealth is not found in what one accumulates, but in the love we give, the kindness we show, and the bread we share with others. It was a legacy of compassion, passed down through generations, all sparked by a small girl and half a loaf of bread. Moral of the story: true kindness is not about how much we have, but how much we are willing to give. Even the smallest act of sharing, made from a place of genuine empathy and personal sacrifice, can feed not only the body but also the heart. And it may be remembered long after the bread is gone, leaving an enduring legacy of compassion.